part of the conversation. Everybody's favorite guest, Joey Finro, and
There we go.
the unofficial third member of the Chris and Dan show. It should just be called the Chris and Dan and Joey show at this point.
One
But
day.
how, well, today might as well. So how's it going, Joey?
Yeah, doing well.
I was
Yeah, how are
telling you
you?
about books, man, and I'm behind on this channel. I got to review Plato's The Last Day of Socrates.
Oh,
And
geez.
I've been telling you
Just
about
some light reading.
the light reading. This actually is light reading compared to some of the other
Oh,
stuff.
to
But
what we were just talking about.
yes, we were just talking about We Who Wrestle with God, and
Uh-huh.
uh, you know what got me into philosophy in the first place? I never really told you. It was
Oh,
a very unexpected Poor Charlie's Almanac by Charlie Munger.
is that right?
Yes, this is actually a philosophy book. It's a financial philosophy book, which is
Really?
what attracted me to it. But
Interesting.
look at the practical thought about practical thought. So these are mental models. Okay. I was like, okay, that sounds like bullshit. But I read them and he basically said these mental models can be applied to any industry. They could be applied to life. And I went on a deep rabbit hole. These are essentially memes. And what memes are so popular, like they're like an image that just explains a concept instantly, right?
Mhm.
And you're like, you understand based on just looking at something. You understand a greater concept, like a isomorphism kind of. So I was like, okay, well, what's mental models? Charlie Munger has like 28 of them that he applies to finance, but he you can apply to anything. So I was like, all right, what did he read? He reads only philosophy. And I'm like, why are all these
Oh,
billionaires obsessed with
ah,
biographies and philosophy?
I see.
And then I read my next philosophy book, which was Marcus Aurelius Meditations. It's
Jeez.
all about your mind, basically.
For sure. So
So
yes,
that's why I
yes.
went down this long, and I don't know if I'll ever get bored of it now, because
Right.
there's like good shit, man. I mean, all these business books, like not too long ago, I used to read too, like how to do this, how to
Yeah.
do X,
Yeah.
how to do Y, and Gary V started my career basically with Crush
Yeah.
It.
Yeah, dude.
But
Yeah.
ultimately, it's you're training your mind to react quickly and pattern recognition and how to not fuck things up once you do have it,
Yeah.
which is like power essentially. And like that's this
Yeah.
book, Lyndon Johnson. So now I understand why all these old rich dudes read philosophy and biographies.
Well, I think like so yes, yeah. Well, and it's like to keep your mind stimulated and sharp and I mean I read a lot of business and finance books as well. And to me that yeah, those are fascinating too, especially when I read something or like and now Dan, you and I were just talking about private equity. So it's like going
Yeah.
into a little new like genre and then learning more about it is stimulating. And I think the more complex stuff is just what you were saying. So I feel like they all have read all the other books. I feel about like finance, business, startups, venture capitalism, private equity, and
Yes.
now they're like, okay, I've 100% conquered that. But now let's go into like the meaning of life and why and I we've talked about religion quite a
Oh
bit,
yeah.
yeah, I'm sure, and that stuff too, theology, philosophy, that's more complex and it's not a quick answer. And there's a even Jordan Peterson, I mean, sometimes I have to pause after I heard him say one or two
Yeah.
points to digest what he just said, because it's like, whoa, that's profound and I need to reflect on it. So it
Yeah.
keeps the mind going.
It does keep the mind going, and yeah, I mean, as long as you're interested in it, which we have been discussing private equity, but I thought
Hmm.
it was a good way to open this pod with Jordan Peterson's We Who Wrestle with Gods. There was one non-philosophy book I read recently, Cash Patel, the
Oh,
new
oh, interesting.
FBI
Okay.
director that Trump
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
it was a good, he didn't read it himself. It was only
Oh,
five
okay.
hours, but it was good, but I gotta say, it like paled in comparison to the other stuff I was reading in between. I feel like I was reading like profound stuff, and then I had a break with like Cash Patel bitching about the current status quo, And it like pales in comparison to like Socrates's thoughts about life and the meaning of life and stuff. And then you read some guy bitching about, I mean, even though I like him,
No, I know what you're saying. It's like
you
it's like such a low on the pecking, or priority
yeah,
list. Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Oh,
really
that's
interesting
funny.
how my mind kind of shifted. And I don't know, there's something to be said about good content in general, where in
Hmm.
another book, this was a fiction, but it might as well be a philosophy book. The author said good content is really an escape room or an escape door. So imagine you are in a long, infinite hallway and there's doors everywhere, right? Most of them are painted. If you're lucky in your lifetime, one or two of them will actually open. And
Interesting.
and he was saying that's like content these days. The majority is
Hmm.
garbage. Like you're just
Interesting.
gonna get like a false door. But like what you really want when you're seeking content is an escape
Hmm.
from that tunnel,
Hmm.
which is crazy to think about. As a content creator,
I
I think
actually want to
differently.
elaborate on that. And that's actually what I was going to ask you about. Like, so do you think like if and maybe both can be true, like because Gary V, he's more of like just go out, produce content,
Mhm.
get it out there, volume, and make it better over time. Is that still true there, or do you think like if you're just starting out, like maybe like me, even like I put out some content, but it's it's not like complex or like super engaging. It's really just like, oh, me, Joey, real estate, house, benefits of buying, benefits of selling, benefits of investing. It's more like basic stuff. What would the right answer be? Put out, I mean, what's his name? Mr. B says put out one video a month and make it the
Right,
world's best video,
right.
or three or to five videos a day or 10 videos a day like Alex Hermosi and Grant Cardone. What
Yes.
would that
And
be?
me, I agree with put both. The answer is
Okay.
both. The answer is comes down to philosophy is to you, what you want to do, because nobody said how many people you have to have an escape door for. If it's just one person that saw your short and you truly gave them an escape, like Gary Vee was one of those doors in my life. Crush It
Uh,
was in that hallway of painted doors, his actually opened. And I was like, oh fuck. And you wouldn't expect it from that dude. He posts like shit
right.
nonstop. People say he spams,
Yeah.
right? But for
Right.
me, it opened a door. Other people
I
might have
see.
different experience. So the answer is both. The
Hmm.
answer is the creator himself. What do you feel good about putting out? And do you actually
And
just
then
keep
doing
in
it.
mind this should open the door for someone? Who do I want it to open the door for? And then you're lucky if it opens for one, but if you can
Hmm.
open it for more than one, you're
Then
gonna
you're,
be
yeah.
quote
Yeah.
unquote successful.
For sure.
But even
Yeah.
if it's just one, success doesn't matter to that person. Your success, right? They just thank you for showing me this door that opens. Like, fuck.
Right.
How
Hmm.
do- So it's like not, it's a non-answer, but it is, in my opinion, the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if you look at
How's
it,
that
it
for a
maybe,
non-answer?
and maybe the best answer would be as you continue to grow and have a bigger audience, you then focus more on the best content.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Beast, his first videos,
Once a, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Though Mr. Beast videos when he first started out, they weren't the world's best videos.
Mm-mm.
It was just like he had a laptop just like I have,
Yep.
and he was saying dumbass shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
dumb stuff, super low quality. Didn't think about it. Didn't have a script. But now, I mean, each one of his videos he posts is literally a video, like a movie production.
And it's
You
an
know,
escape for many people. Escape from
exactly it
boredom.
is.
Escape from boredom.
100%. Yeah, or their
Yeah.
busy lifestyle
Yep.
or
Yep.
what have
A
you.
little bit of like enjoyment.
Yeah. And I'm
I
sure Jordan
think
Peterson's first book wasn't this last one you just talked about, The Meaning of God, or what was this
We
last
Who
one you just
Wrestle with God. His
We
first one
Who
was
Wrestle
Maps
with
of
God.
Meaning, which is extremely dense.
Okay, okay,
Extremely dense.
okay.
His most dense. It's not like meant to be a bestseller. That's why
Well,
12
see
Rules for
what I'm
Life
saying?
was his
Yeah.
bestseller.
No, that
right?
and actually I wouldn't even say for again I read that 12 Rules for Life. This was a couple years ago, but I don't remember it being like, oh my gosh, this like I have to stop after like he definitely had some very, very
Yeah.
profound stuff, but it was definitely something I could read, and
Yes.
like,
And that's
but
why
again
that
it
one was his
oh,
escape for most people.
I see. Okay.
But his first one was Escape for the early people. And so Mr. Beast, I don't know, I didn't watch his early content. I know it like kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Maybe for him that was the right move, but for someone like Gary Vee would say do both.
Right. One a month, do a very good one, but still do three a day or four a
And then
day.
repurpose it. So you're making a nice Thanksgiving meal. You know, it's a lot of effort goes into that
Mm.
meal. But for the rest of that week, you're making sandwiches, you're
Right,
making
right, right.
wraps, you're making salads, soup. So
Greens, beans, tomatoes.
you're repurposing that content, man. And
Yeah,
it's food for somebody. So the answer is that comes back to the creator. Look within and say, well, what do I want to actually make? And what will I be compliant with? And am I okay with this quality? Or do you think I can improve it? I think that self-improvement is also part of it. Mr. Beast is never happy with his videos, even now.
true.
So yeah, this is very
And
deep, man.
he's probably the one YouTube that like probably no YouTuber does as much as spends as much as
Oh,
spends the most resources per video than him in YouTube. I mean that's
absolutely.
I
He
mean
treats YouTube like Steven Spielberg, would
right,
treat like E.T.
right.
or whatever else he made.
Yeah.
That's like that level. No one else does that. Correct. Correct. But that doesn't mean Joey Finner or Dance Fair can't
Sure,
open a door
sure.
for someone. And
No, no, I agree. And that's the so yeah. I mean, you know, uh,
but
uh,
here's where you should
Mr.
not make
Beast would
content.
never Mr. Beast would never be where he is if he didn't frickin' start and have that
That's right.
crappy
That's
content at
right.
the very beginning. And saying like, I feel like I'm at the very early stances of what I'm doing, and I kind of have to go through that to get to if you just can't have a helicopter go from here to here with
Yes.
any sort of lasting success. So,
Correct.
but you
Correct.
were saying,
To make my answer more precise, to make it like less of a non-answer, I know what content I would not make. Whatever my archetype is for my ideal, who I want to see this video, I pretend I am them. And for me, it's easy. It's me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 1 year ago. If I know I wouldn't watch that shit I just put out, I'm not putting that shit out.
got it.
That's my
Okay.
rule. And I have
That's a good
not
rule.
posted videos every now and then because of that.
Oh, is that right?
Yep,
Okay.
I was like, nah, this seems more like spam. Nah, I'm
I
not okay.
see.
I'm not okay with that one.
Okay.
I just
No,
scrap it.
yeah, that's, that's not a bad, that's not a bad approach. And I'm about to, I was just talking to somebody in my office about real estate content and stuff, and just how like more relevant that is because like we used to hate on this 7 years ago. I mean, and
Yeah.
I used to talk a bunch of crap about realtors wasting their time posting on social media and
Yeah.
YouTube, and
Yeah.
now look at who's effing laughing at that, me.
Well, and it says something about society too. So back to
Yeah,
the doors that
you hate
open.
it, then you love it. Yeah,
Yeah, and back to the doors that open. So for
dang,
some that's utility, for some that's informational. For the
right.
majority, and this is however you want to look at society, whether it's you think it's sad or good, people are wanting to be entertained with stupid shit, right? So
Yes,
what
yes.
doesn't seem like it makes sense, like that AI trend where you put yourself as a doll,
Right.
like
Yeah.
7, 8 years ago, you'd been like, "This is stupid, man. No one's."
Right. But
But
now
now you're
that's
like, "Yeah, that's gonna entertain someone." Like,
for sure.
you almost have to do it, if even if it's just your existing client base.
Exactly. Exactly. No, and it's so true. And it's like, yeah, I was just, telling like even with my social content, it's like I need a pump because I basically post like two videos a week of me like in the shot, not including like
But you've
other
been doing very good
things.
lately. I've seen your tours.
Oh, thank you. Okay,
You have a
yes.
lot
Okay,
of
thank you.
catching up to do with those hoochies on TikTok that dress in short shirts, short skirts, and do house
My
tours.
goal is to be a hoochie on
I saw on my TikTok For You page, I'm like, why are all these like realtors? They look
I
like,
know.
Insta hoochies, but They got tons of views.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And if it, it's like where Grant Cardone would say, where's the eyeballs at?
Yeah.
What's getting it? But I want to add more. I like honestly, I want to get to, you know, 3 to 5. Like I mean, really 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It does take a. I need to be more strategic with my time,
Well, no, no,
but
objectively, so I follow your shit.
oh,
The last ones I really enjoyed were your house tours
oh,
because
okay.
as someone who no longer lives in Orange County,
Mm,
I feel like I have a window into what's current there. And
I
like, yeah, I
see.
even texted you like, damn, that's a lot for that
You
shit.
did. That's right. Okay.
For me, you opened
Yeah,
a door right there. It was like
I
a few
see.
seconds. Actually,
Yes,
it was a few
yes.
minutes. But I
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's a glimpse into. I
Yeah,
couldn't get that from anyone else other than
I
you at
see.
that time. So I
Hmm.
think stuff like
So
that
more
is
of
cool.
that. Okay.
In
Because
my
I'm gonna
opinion, yeah.
well, you're not the only one that has said that, and we can talk more offline about
Yeah.
that because there's a couple more things in there that I like to discuss. But once I started doing that, I mean, I've seen a ton more uh, responses and
Yeah.
positive
I
feedback
even
and stuff
DM'd you
like that.
like, damn, that's a
Yeah,
lot for that
yeah.
area and that
But
house.
I'm
Like,
about to
holy
do
crap.
more like, and you have said this before, like community-based stuff, because I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of realtors and people in real estate aren't doing, like, especially now that I have some, like, I bought a drone,
Oh, you
like
bought a
going, like,
drone?
I did, yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
man.
So I'll tell you more about that. I don't want
Okay.
to distract too much on this,
Yeah, yeah.
but I want to do more useful information that most realtors don't spend time to do. Yes, there are realtors that do property tours, but it's a very small amount because it's a little bit challenging to do for a couple of reasons I don't have to get into. That, but plus the neighborhood stuff
Yes.
is also hard to do because you might not have a drone. It takes time to like go and show different stuff about the neighborhoods or the community or Mission Viejo. I just did a community tour on Lake Mission Viejo, and I'm like, yeah, there's really not that many like content stuff about that. So that's what I'm working on adding more because it's not that much out there. I'm trying to find less competition as what I've learned from you
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
and you
post
can't
more.
compete with the short skirt, so you got to do
And
something.
I just bought a new one for me, and it looks good. I'm joking.
And those
I am in
people,
California
not every view is built the same either, right?
for
Like
sure.
those people drooling over those Insta hoochies are probably not the views they want. I mean, it might be good
Right.
for their ego, but it's not really achieving a business outcome that they want. Matter of fact, it's probably negatively
R-
contributing to.
Right, especially when you're like stripping or something. But I
Right,
think
right.
there are some like funny realtor ones that I've seen that
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
have
the
made me
comedian one are
laugh.
good.
Yeah,
That guy
and I
that
think that
raps in San Diego, there's a white dude
yes,
that raps.
yes,
That one's
yes,
good. I
yes,
don't know if he
yeah.
still does it, but he
Yeah,
was
there's
actually
another
doing good.
guy in, I think he's in Bakersfield or somewhere over there that's a white guy that also raps. And dude, I'm like, dude, I actually think I think that's
Props.
great.
Props
Props
to
because he's
them,
going
man.
to a property, he's at his brokerage, he's rapping. I'm like, you're getting eyeballs, you're entertaining, which is
That's
what we've
right.
come back to. So, anyways,
No, that's right. I think you're on the right track. I think, and if you go with the metric that not all views have the same valence, you know, you're probably saving yourself a lot of time filtering out. Like I watched on that TikTok girls thing, half the comments were like, "I'm interested," but it made it seem like they're interested in her, not the house. So she's got to go through and DM
and
all those people
siphon.
back,
Ah,
or like,
I
what's
see.
going on? You don't have to do that. You like
Right, right.
when someone reaches out to you like I
Yeah.
did, I'm like,
Yes,
dude, that's
yes.
expensive for the house. And
Right.
now it opens
Yes.
you up for like, well, what are you looking for instead? Like
For
what?
sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And I had said like fortunately I have a lot of my past clients follow me on social media
Mm.
and that like what you did, that actually happens like almost every day,
Every
which
day.
is
See, there you
yeah,
go.
almost every day. And it's like, no, does every single one of those add to a sale? No. But it's like, the more you do
It's
it
brand
over
equity.
time,
It's brand equity.
exactly.
They don't forget
Exactly.
you. Your
Right. Oh,
biggest
Joey.
enemy
Oh,
is
Joey.
yeah, yep.
Yeah,
The biggest enemy of a small business is obscurity, not
right.
anything else. It's
Yes.
obscurity. Like they don't know who you are. So
Right,
that's
exactly. Or they forget, that,
yeah, yeah,
oh, you're
yeah.
still in real estate? I don't, that kind of thing.
Yeah, blast from the past. Nice to see you on there.
Right.
Interesting, man. Well, this was pretty good pod. I know you got to get
Like,
going.
subscribe, comment, share.
Yeah, you guys got to
Did I
get
get that
going,
right?
man. Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share, yes, and follow Joey Finro.
There we go. There we go.
Not an Insta hooch for sure.
No, not a hoochie, but I will make you laugh.
I'll send you the one I saw on TikTok, man. These people, some have
Please.
no shame, man.
Awesome.
All right, like, subscribe, comment, share, go follow Joey Finro right now, and
Let's roll.
go try to read a book. Bye bye.
Yeah, read a book.